Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines. FTX back in the news. We got Ripple with the state of CBDCs. Very interesting stuff. And 3 numbers you will want to remember. WorldBank WhistleBlower, baby. And Swift going live. The countdown is on. XRP-TA, where we at? Breakout or retrace? Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on TikTok, YouTube, or Twitter for exclusive content. Right now, $1.09 trillion market cap for crypto. We're up 2.4%. Bitcoin, 23,000 plus. We see Ethereum, 1,600, slightly over. Tether market cap, 67.2 billion, they're saying. And 41 cents for XRP. We're up 8.5% on the 7-day. Good morning, everybody. Ledger Stacks, baby. The creator of the iPod. Yeah, that's right. Take a look at it. Look, it's beautiful. Look at it. You can put NFTs on it. It's amazing. Yeah, I pre-ordered mine. Did you pre-order yours? Get the best price. Get it done now. Click the link underneath the video. Don't mess around. Don't make them tell you can't get it. You don't want to hear that. I know that. I didn't want to hear it either. That's why I got mine. This here. From Meta Lawman, shout out to you. This will be fascinating, he says, because what he's talking about is today 3 objections to the U.S. trustees' motion for independent examiner in the FTX case have been filed. FTX debtors, creditors committee, and the Bahamas team. Isn't that interesting? He says 4 senators submitted a letter asking for independent examiner. Will they do more? Several states have entered the FTX case. Will they lend support for an examiner? The SEC asked for independent examiner in Enron. Will they say anything here? We're going to keep following this because it seems like that SBF is the golden child. They don't want him getting in trouble. They're doing everything they can to make sure that he doesn't get in trouble. That's what I see taking place here. And we're going to watch it close and we're going to blow it up if they try to let him off the hook. This goes out to John Kevin Mew right here. Shout out to you, John. He says here, only 2 choices. Regulations are clear and Gary Gensler abided by them to approve FTX's broker-dealer license. Or B, regulations are not clear, which led Gary Gensler mistakenly approving FTX's broker-dealer license. And then I said, or C, he gave a broker-dealer license because FTX and SBF were the second largest Democratic donor to the Democratic Party. And Gary Gensler decided to not do his due diligence and take a look at the books, which he could find out in 5 seconds or less. Things weren't on the up and up. Yeah. Hashtag regulatory capture of the SEC agency. And let's throw the CFTC in there as well, because they didn't do nothing either. Don't forget any of this. Don't forget any of this. This is how it went down, right? They did nothing. And actually, they didn't do nothing. They did something. They elevated SBF and FTX, didn't they? Of course they did. Change gears a little bit here. Wall Street Silver says, well, he shares this, and let me share this from Justin Amash right here. Decentralized money, no digital dollar. A digital U.S. currency would be one of the most dangerous developments in history. When government can simply flip a switch to block all your transactions, it controls your entire life. We need a wall of separation between money and state. This is well said. I 1,000,000% agree with this. I think Chris Giancarlo, former CFTC commissioner, knows exactly this story. And that is exactly what he is fighting for from what I have heard him say. Let me propose something before we move through this information very quickly here. The U.S. is lagging behind. China is furthest ahead. You're going to see evidence of that being said by a Ripple Insights in just 1 second. Is it though? If we understand this threat of digital money, Think about something like USDC. Now, I know it's backed by Goldman Sachs. Yeah, I don't get the warm and fuzzies either. But I also understand how the world works. The legacy firms win, right? I don't like it either, okay? Go throw tomatoes on Wall Street. It's not my, whatever. Don't hurt anybody. But the point is this. We have the USDC, right? It is separate of government. It can be interoperable with other protocols to move it around. If there is suspicious activity, a government agency, DOJ, whatever, criminal investigator, or market regulator sees something suspicious, they could regulate that activity and drill down on that wallet, which is not revealing your identity until something suspicious or illegal takes place. And then they need to find out who the wallet is attached to. And that's where KYC AML come into play. And then they go, oh, okay, wallet number, letter A, B, 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 1, 2, 3. That belongs to Joe Doe, whatever it is, right? To me, that's the best case scenario. We're not going to stop the world going digital, right? We don't get to choose how technology affects us or not. It's coming. It's here. If we're going to do anything, we want to move in a way that maintains our citizenship, our freedom, our rights. I believe global citizenship should be that everyone has the right to privacy when it comes to digital money, but that isn't how the world works, right? I'm in the US, so I got to focus on what's going on here. I feel like the lack of action by the United States, and maybe I'm glass half full here, but I feel like that what we're really watching here is the understanding that the retail digital dollar already exists, and it's doing quite well. And the Federal Reserve can't shut it off. Isn't that what we want as retail citizens, consumers? They can take their time and develop a wholesale CBDC on the back end directly from the Fed, and central banks can worry about it. But you know what? Other central banks are smarter than all of us because they know that they don't want to hold someone else's money. Introduction, XRP is a bridge currency. So maybe, just maybe, as we move through all of this lack of clarity, U.S. is falling behind, maybe it's just that the United States realizes they're the largest economy in the world. And once they put their hat in the ring, it's over. Because once they do it, who else is bigger than them to move into the space and declare it legitimate? Everybody says around the world, well, it doesn't matter what the SEC is doing. It doesn't matter what U.S. regulators think. Really? Because the market was at $3+ trillion and now it's just barely at $1 trillion, and it climbed to get back to that. Tell me about how the U.S. can't do anything again. They're suppressing at least $2+ trillion out of this market right now. This is the state of global CBDC adoption with Daryl Duffy, shared by Yoshitaka Kitao from SBI. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but you need to see this. Each country has its own reasons for exploring CBDC. Some, like Sweden, Canada, Palau, Bhutan, direct relations to Ripple and XRP, want to ensure the existence of a digital national currency in the event that paper money goes out of circulation. Really, or becomes too costly to print and has a negative impact on the environment. Now, doesn't that sound like somebody knows the excuse that's going to be given? James Wallace will be speaking later today. I will be tuning into that. I'll bring you the highlights from it. The Digital Pound webinar for the Digital Pound Foundation and the UK Treasury Committee. And here's 3 numbers for you you're going to want to know about. And I'll tell you something. These numbers are running in the same calculation and size that we've heard from the Confidential Committee. Shout out to Jimmy Valley and Val Hill Capital for that, and everybody on the committee. Take a listen to this and the size of these numbers and what is coming. The world is moving to a digital age. Take a listen.
demanding a technology solution. And there's a long tail to those legacy assets to be digitally twinned.
There's a long tail to those digital assets to be digitally twinned. Talking about the physical assets that exist in this world that need a digital twin to exist in this digital age.
Let's talk about the long tail. I've got three numbers for you: 50, 160, 330. And those numbers are in trillions. There's 50 trillion in private equity. That's, private company value. There's 160 trillion in public-private debt, and there's 330 trillion in global private real estate. That's 540 trillion. That's 540 trillion in assets that largely are not in the financial system.
Now, that is an incredible number, and he's talking about assets that are not in the financial system. This is outside of the financial system. Shout out to Riz for this one. Give him a follow. But this shows the enormity of what the digital age is going to handle, encompass, right? It is massive where we're going. Here is a video from Karen Hudas, who used to be at the World Bank. And she's going to explain to you, now this has a few years on it here, but she hasn't changed her tone. I've been to her YouTube channel and checked it out, and I wish her all the best. But I see that this is so timely with what's going on geopolitically, economically speaking, in the climate that exists today. It really is more relevant, I believe, than it was when she was talking about it. And take a listen to what she tells you.
Now, what's going on right now with our Federal Reserve note?
What is going on right now is that paper currency never works. It always crashes. And we are just at the moment that we have the time to convert that to treasury dollars. And this is exactly what Ronald Reagan was trying to do when he did a study, and he found out that 100% of our income taxes are leaving the country and going to the bankers. That's what John F. Kennedy was doing. And John F. Kennedy, he had accessed the wealth of the world and the gold that we're supposed to have. The Federal Reserve does not have the gold that the United States is supposed to have backing its dollar. That gold is there, but it's not going to be backing the Federal Reserve note. And so we have got to transition very quickly to the real currency in the United States. And Ronald Reagan printed that currency. It's there waiting for us. And we just simply have to exchange it, very simply. And we will not have any economic dislocation. Otherwise, you better believe this country is not going to have any more military might. If we stay with the Federal Reserve note, we will have lost our standing completely, as it is right
now. I want to jump in because think about where we are. Now, this is years old. But think about where we are now. China and Russia have developed a new payment system, and they are using it also in a cooperation with BRICS coalition. BRICS coalition is expanding in its size. Saudi Arabia is announcing they'll take other currencies and agreed to use the Chinese yuan through the Shanghai Exchange for oil. They are starting to pull away from the US dollar. Now, let's be clear, because not to be an alarmist, some of the best assets that China holds, if not the best assets that China holds currently, is US Treasuries. And easily over $1 trillion in my last memory count. So it's not something they can just abruptly do unless it's done in cooperation with the United States. And I don't believe that the Saudi Arabia pulls out and OPEC starts accepting other dollars, just openly, thumbing their nose at the United States over the petro agreement, because that's how wars start. You just don't do those things, because then three-letter agencies kick something off, and the next thing you know, that country needs help. But hey, we said we would give you military might if you needed it, but you started shucking our dollar to the side so you could have everybody else's dollar. Maybe ask them for help. Isn't that how the world works? It is at my house. Then we see this. It just so happens that the largest wiring messaging payment system for financial institutions on the planet is beginning its migration to ISO 20022 in March of 2023. I don't need to play it. There's music in it. Could be copywritten. I don't know. But that's what's coming. And do I find it coincidental? Is it mutually exclusive that there's a great potential and possibility that the Ripple case could end on or before March 2023 as well? I don't know, but I'm leaning in. Not financial advice. Take a look at this before we get out of here. Where's XRP going? Retrace or break it? Closing daily candle above 1.0, which is around 42 cents, will confirm that this is not a retracement, but is a breaking process. We will watch. We'll pay close attention to it. But remember, pay closer attention to the news that can excite the very real buyers and sellers on this very real chart. Shout out to Egg Rag Crypto and everybody that does TA for all of us to see. Very grateful for them and all that they do. And I'm very grateful for each and every one of you that you come here every day and listen. It means an awful lot to me, and I do not take it lightly, and I won't forget it. Thank you guys so much for what you do. All the best. I'll catch all of you on the next one.